It's the January transfer window, guys, and we have received a club record bid. We are officially in the money because Martin Gillespie has had a huge amount of money paid for him. Let's get into this episode and find out quite what's happened. So guys, welcome back to the Stones Rolling On Up, and now to episode 51 of our series. As I've just mentioned, we are pretty much in the money now with Maidstone, that's for sure, because of the fact that our star player Martin Gillespie, our star striker and one of the best youngsters in the team, has received an £8.5 million bid for him. I cannot believe the figures I have just said there for him. Essentially, what happened is on the beginning of the January window, Leeds put in an inquiry. They wanted to find out how much I wanted for him. So I just said, for a laugh, £10 million plus like 25% sell-on fee. And Leeds negotiated down to 8.5. I couldn't believe they accepted it, but they have. I also put a clause in there saying I have to sign a replacement player. So at the moment, it hasn't gone through, but it has been confirmed while we look for a striker. So we will very soon have a huge amount of money in at the club, that is for sure. Obviously, if you missed the last episode, guys, and we faced top of the league Middlesbrough, there will be a link right above me for you to click on. I won't spoil what happened just yet because it was a very end-to-end game. So if you do want to click on it, go have a look at that and see quite what happened. However, in regards to all the other deals going on at the moment, you'll see there's a lot of things going on with the club. We've got bids made for some players such as Jan Dander, and we've also gone in for two players currently in Lewis Bate and Richiro Cox, who's a Dutch wing-back. At the moment, there's been nothing confirmed, so until anything happens, I won't go through any of these players as of yet because they could all fall through. However, in terms of the schedule, guys, we haven't had a particularly great time. We have kind of begun to overturn some of our poor form, but we were on a really bad run. We went something like 7 or 8 games in the league without a win, and we did drop down the league as a result. We finally managed to turn it around, but it's been very hit and miss at the moment. After the Middlesbrough and Accrington games from last episode, we took on Walsall at home in a very difficult game, which ended up being a 1-1 draw. It's quite unlucky. We did really deserve to win this, but we conceded an own goal and dropped points as a result, so quite disappointing there. Afterwards, we then had the FA Cup second round replay where we went away, this time to Ipswich Town, the side who have already played 2 or 3 times this season, and we haven't lost to, and we finally did lose to them. Really annoyingly, we were 1-1 at half time. Zach Swanson at right back got sent off. At the moment, I was looking to sub him off as well, and he then got sent off, and we lost the game as a result. So very frustrating. We didn't get into the third round, which I wanted, but it's not the end of the world. As a result, it means today we will be playing in a league game as well as the EFL Trophy. We then faced off against Mansfield away, and really frustrating this game. The first 70 minutes or so of this match, we were awful. Really, really poor. We didn't deserve anything. I then changed the formation up, put some wingers on and things like that, and it started to look a bit better. We scored and got a bit more into the game, but we couldn't claw the game back, and we lost that 2-1. But then we managed to kind of turn around the form ever so slightly. We took Lincoln on at home and we just about scraped a 2-1 win. We scored in the 89th minute from Martin Gillespie to win this game. I'd been kind of looking at changing up the tactic ever so slightly by playing a slightly deeper midfield 3, and it hadn't really been working. So I went back to the old faithful with the 5-2-1-2, and in this game it worked, and I was very pleased with that. Afterwards, though, we then faced Bolton away, and again we left it late in this one. A 62nd minute equaliser from Gillespie and an 88th minute winner from Maddie Smith just about secured all 3 points, and we needed it because the morale was through the floor at these points before these 2 wins, but thankfully we kind of got it back a bit. However, we then have just faced, in a really annoying game, bottom of the league Crawley Town away, and we somehow lost 1-0. We utterly dominated them. We had something like 25 shots to Crawley's 2 or 3, and we lost it 1-0. We just couldn't score, and that's really been the story of the last kind of 6 to 8 weeks in game. It really has been really annoying and just very frustrating. But as I've already said, guys, we are going to be taking on a league fixture with Carlisle today alongside Oxford in the EFL Trophy. But in League One, we are currently sitting in 8th place. We have dropped out of the playoffs by 3 points due to our inconsistent form, and quite disappointingly, really. Still, though, we've got a relatively easy game in Carlisle coming up in today's episode, and then we have second from bottom Oxford in the Cup. So hopefully we can get 2 wins in this episode today. In terms of how we're lining up for our game, it's going to be Lewis Ward in net, Sean Hutchinson, Brassier and Thorpe at the back, with Swanson and McCallum at fullback. It's then Max Power and Matty Smith in midfield. I'm currently looking for a replacement for Max Power, so we may well not be seeing him much more after today's episode. It's then Cole Palmer in attacking midfield with Dylan Munro and Ike Ugbo. I have had to drop Martin Gillespie, not because of the fact he's on the way out, but actually he's picked up a slight injury. He's out for a couple of weeks with, I think it's a pulled knee ligament or something, so he isn't available for selection today. You'll also notice really weirdly that everyone is currently greyed out, because for the first time in 51 episodes, I have managed to start a game without actually being recording. You'll see in the top right that the match option is available. So what we'll do is we'll get into this game and I'll run through exactly how Carlisle have lined up before we actually get going. So let's get into this game and find out how we do for our first match of this episode. So let's get into it then. As I've already said, if we click on the match button, we'll come straight into our lineups here because I've already managed to go into it by mistake. And Carlisle are going by a very similar formation to ours, just ever slightly deeper. They're going very 5-3-2 with a flat 3 in midfield. So ever slightly more defensive. It's going to be probably a tough game trying to see who can beat each other in midfield. But hopefully we can get the job done. We are at home. I'm going to say to the lads assertively that we are favourites because we should be winning this. We're far better off in terms of the league positions compared to Carlisle. They're down the bottom of the league. They're in the relegation zone. So we do need to win this. We're at home, of course, in the amber and black. Don't know if it's quite a sellout. I think we've got a decent attendance for this game. So hopefully we can do the job. We really need to get some form going because if we are going to try and aim for playoffs or maybe even get some late automatic promotion push, we're going to need to turn our form around. Of course, with this possible money coming in, which we should be, I believe the board said we'll be getting about £1.5 million to spend. We may well be able to get 1 or 2 other players in addition to another striker. So we're going to need to replace Martin Gillespie, that's for sure. But I don't really know in terms of who we can bring in because, of course, we're going to get this money, but it's all well and good having money at this lower levels, but actually spending it is another question because there's not that many good players you can kind of spend money on when you're a League One side because players don't want to join. What a save, Lewis Ward. Wow, that was a save and a half. I thought that was guaranteed a goal when the player got out on target, but thankfully it didn't go over the line. Flipping heck. But as I've already said as well, we are looking to bring in a wing-back and a midfielder. I've got 2 bids on 2 different players, so I'm hoping at least one of them may accept. One of them is a youngster from the Netherlands who is going to be joining on a pre-contract, but I should be able to organise a fee to get him in now if he does accept the contract. And the other one is a youngster at Chelsea who is a central midfielder and a very good central midfielder who would play on that right central midfielder role most likely. Now, it's been a very drab first half. I'm going to say to the lads that I'm far from pleased because it's been very, very poor. I do wonder if I should take off Dylan Munro. He's very much struggling in that first half. He hasn't really offered anything. I mean, the whole team hasn't really offered anything, let's be honest. Haven't seen anything at all. We've had 1 shot on target all game. In fact, I am going to make that decision. I'm going to take him off. I'm going to bring on the youngster Kirk Thompson, who you haven't even seen play yet. He's had a couple of short sub appearances. And I'm going to give him the game here, see how he gets on. I do wonder if we should change anything else. I think for the moment I will hold off making any further changes and we will see about maybe bringing on another winger or something as we go. I'll see if that can make a difference. I don't know if he will. He's not a bad youngster, but he hasn't really had a chance to shine as Thompson, so it may not be the best decision, but we'll wait and see. I'm going to put us on attacking because we're just not creating anything. In fact, I'll tell you what, we're going to go with wingers. We're not creating anything at all. Let's bring on a winger here. We're going to move Thompson over to the right. Let's get Tafani on as well. And I think what we'll do actually, we'll put the lads like this. We'll put Ugbo on the left, make him the inside forward. Put Thompson in the right as the advance forward. And we'll pull back the wing backs as well. Come on, lads. We desperately need to do something here. We really do. We cannot be dropping more points. This is the story of our season at the moment. It really is, especially the last kind of 8 to 10 weeks in game. We've been so inconsistent and just so poor going forward. I don't really know why. I've tried to make us more patient and have slower passing kind of play, and that hasn't worked. I've then tried being more quick pace and more counter-attacking style. That hasn't worked. Just seems no matter what we do, there's just no kind of solution for what's going on at the moment. We're just so inconsistent and it's very frustrating. That is a lovely ball. Come on, Thompson. The youngster has scored. Oh, he's offside. No. Oh, my goodness. He must be so close. He must have been... There's a zoom out. How close was he? Oh, no, actually, he was quite far offside. Oh, that was a great finish as well from him. That was brilliantly taken. Right, there is a highlight here. Carlisle with the ball. Okay, there's a pen. No idea what for. Didn't see anything happen. No one went down in the box. And they've got a pen. And they've scored it. Carlisle have scored their pen. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, we're now losing. Oh, great. Right, well, I'm going to push the strikers to be more central then. Right, well, Ugbo pressing forward on attack. Tafani can stay as a deep line forward. We'll push the wing backs up. We've got nothing to lose now at all. Let's get Dander on as well. We'll go like this. For God's sake, this is so frustrating. This is just how it's been the last few weeks in the game. It really has been. Just everything that could go against us is going against us in the league especially. And I think we're going to be losing once again. Just another inconsistent performance from us against a lower rated side. Yep, another 1-0 defeat to another team in the relegation zone as well. Oh, it's so frustrating. It really is. I don't know what to do as well. I really don't. We just can't seem to just break teams down at the moment. I'm going to say aggressively that is unacceptable because it was a terrible performance. We didn't see anything really other than the offside goal. Just a really poor performance. It keeps us down in 8th. We're now 4 points off of Wickham in 6th. Really, really poor. Still, we have at least a respite from the league in our next game because we're going to be taking on Oxford in the EFL Trophy 3rd round Southern Group stuff, whatever it is. Such a confusing competition, but that is at least the next game. So I'll see you ready for that Oxford one in a few seconds. So here we are ready for now our second game of the episode. Hopefully this one will be a little bit more successful than the first. And of course it is in the EFL Trophy. Is it the leasing.com trophy? I think is the sponsored name for it. Stupid name for it as well. And we're going for a relatively rotated squad, of course. With it being this trophy, I never ever play a full team squad, but it's still pretty strong nonetheless. We're going with our backup keeper Heinz Ketchup in net. It's then Sean Hutchinson, Harry Clark and Craig Thorpe in the centre-back roles. Joel Senior is coming in at right-back with McCallum still at left-back. It's then Cole Palmer, Maddie Smith and Jan Dander in midfield. Currently Max Power is, surprise, surprise, suspended because the guy just loves yellow and red cards. And then it's Tafani and Ugbo up front. After Monroe's poor performance, I brought Tafani into the squad. I am looking at 2 strikers currently. Currently, no one has accepted any of the offers that we put in. The young wingback, mind you, has declined the offer that we sent to him. So that one definitely has fallen through. So at the moment, no more news on any transfers. But hopefully come next episode, there will have been a few movements about. Still, this is the squad we're going for the Oxford game here. Let's see how we do in this one and see if we can perform any better than the Carlisle one earlier on in the episode. So then let's submit our side and see how Oxford are going up for this second game. Hopefully not going 4-4-2. They're not. They're going 4-3-3. So hopefully this time with this formation being played, we may be able to actually get a result over our opponents for once. Let's get into the dressing room. I'm going to say to the lads that we failed to score in our last 2 games. So we need to try and score. But looks like the lads don't care about that. I'm going to say to the rest of them I have faith. Hopefully they listen to it and they actually have done. So that's good. I'm not doing tunnel interview. I don't care about the damn things. We're at home. For some reason, we're in our purple kit. I don't know why that is the case, but that's what is happening for some reason. and Oxford are very much a league strugglers. So fingers crossed we can do the job over them. We are playing them straight away in our next game as well, which will be off camera. So we've got Oxford twice within the space of about 3 days. So we could definitely do a beating them here to then try and hopefully then get the job done over them in the league. And McCallum unfortunately just heads over. Very unlucky there from him. Just thought I'd mention, guys, by the way, while this highlight's going on, that in case you missed it earlier in the week, I had a brand new video come out which looks at FM21 and the upcoming beta being released hopefully around the early part of November 10th or 11th. And it looks at essentially interesting sites that you could use for your first save in the game once the beta does come out. It's a who to manage video, and there'll be a link right above me for you to click on if you want to take a look at that. So if you are interested, feel free to have a look. There'll also be a link for it at the end of the episode as well. Still, the opening 20 minutes of the game here, and okay, a very interesting goal there from Gianmarco Tofani. Only his third of the season. He's really struggled this season playing at a high level, but a very strange goal. But we will certainly take that, that's for sure. Ugbo kind of crosses it. Oh no, it's not. It's McCallum crosses it in. I think Palmer heads it down, and then Tofani just kind of falls over and it flicks off of his foot. His foot, even. I don't know if he was trying to tackle the ball, but it somehow ended up in the back of the net. Still, we'll take it regardless. Ugbo is through on goal. Ugbo, I can't score, make it 2. If we can get a comfortable win, that would be very good. We are utterly dominating the game so far. We've had 76% possession and 10 shots within the first 30 minutes of the game. Unbelievable domination from us, really. But it's good to actually see us doing that. I know it's a competition that a lot of teams don't really care for, but as we get in towards the later stages, it's not a bad thing for us to do well. There's a bit of money involved, and obviously at the end of the day, if we get to the final, there's a trophy. So certainly not a bad thing. I'm going to start off that first half, not to get complacent. We've done very well, so let's hopefully not go and throw that away. I'll say to the two lads didn't respond, just there's a lot more to come from them. They all seem pretty happy. I'm not going to make any tactical changes yet because we've had such a dominant first half performance. I don't want to upset that. That's for sure. You also notice as well, by the way, guys, that Jan Dander is playing for us in attacking midfield. This could well be one of his last games, as I think it's Lincoln City have got a bid in for him. His contract expires at the end of the season, and he's asking for like 3 or 4 grand, and I'm not going to give him that. So I offered him out, and Lincoln came in with a bid that I was happy with, about £200,000. So if he goes, then brilliant. It gets another player off the wage bill, and we can look to bring in someone who possibly fits our tactic a bit better, because Dander just has never impressed me since day one. He really hasn't, sadly. He's got all the ability in the world, really, to play at this level, but sadly just hasn't clicked for us. Ugbo's through here. It's unlucky. Very good save there from the goalkeeper. But so it could very well be Dander's last match here for us. The midfielder I am looking at as well, I think his name's Lewis Bate from Chelsea. There is a lot of other interest from other clubs. I think Rotherham are one of the big favourites to sign him, so we may not be able to get him, and if we can't, we'll look for someone else, I'm sure. Now, we're in the last 5 minutes. I'm thinking maybe go a little bit more defensive, quite possibly. So I'm going to pull Dander back into midfield. I'm going to put Palmer in that role instead. I'm going to bring on Canas, and then we'll swap Smith and Canas over. We'll make Canas a bit more defensive, and we'll make Ugbo a bit more of a supportive role, and put the wing backs on a defend duty as well as going balanced. We'll do that for a couple of minutes, and then we'll probably make our final sub to waste a bit of time as the game gets into the 90th minute or so. If we can win it, even if it's only 1-0, then I'm happy with that. Well, there's a chance here. Thankfully, Senior has headed that clear. And even if it is a 1-0, as I say, I don't care. It's a win at the end of the day. It will help morale. It means I can praise some of the players for their performance and so on. Hopefully, just get us some form going, or just improving the overall atmosphere around the club, because it has tanked quite significantly because of how we've been playing. Obviously, losing multiple games on the trot doesn't help with that. Are we actually going to see a highlight, or is it just FM being FM? I think it is that. I'm just going to get a corner being nothing highlight. Yeah, it certainly was. We're in the 90th minute. Let's make that final change on Brion, Zach Swanson. We're going to go defensive, put a bit of time wasting, stop passing to space. Just go for that and hopefully see this game out. It looks like we might be doing that, and we certainly have. Get in there. We actually got a win at long last. It's only a 1-0 against one of the worst teams in the league, but I don't care. A win's a win. We played very well. We did deserve the win, that's for sure. So overall good performance, just not overly brilliant in front of net, but still we've got the job done. We're into the next round of the EFL trophy. So I believe that's the quarterfinals. So we may well hopefully get even further. We'll have to wait and see. Still, let's take a look at our schedule and we'll see what we're going to come back for. Now, we do have the EFL Trophy quarter-final coming up in a few games, but I think that's going to be too quick of a jump for us to come back for that next episode. So what I'm thinking we'll come back for is another top-of-the-table clash at the end of January, because we take on second place Peterborough in the very beginning of February, and also MK Dons. It will also mean that if we have made any transfer business and brought in replacement for the likes of Martin Gillespie, we can run through all of those as well. So next episode, guys, will be Peterborough away and MK Dons at home in a league doubleheader. So then, guys, that just about wraps up today's episode. Overall, a pretty poor showing from the lads, at least in the league anyway. That opening game with us facing off against Carlisle was so poor, it really was. Thankfully, though, at least with Oxford, we got the job done in the EFL Trophy and we're through to the next round of that, so maybe we could have some success in that competition. We'll have to wait and see. But this transfer window is definitely going to be an interesting one. So by the time we come back next episode, when we take on Peterborough and MK Dons, I imagine there will have been a lot of business done, that's for sure. Of course, we're definitely going to be needing to bring in a new striker and probably a new midfielder with Dander probably on the move as well as Gillespie. But hopefully with all of this money coming in, the fact we are getting this huge amount of, what is it, £8.5 million, which I still cannot fathom, we will be able to reinvest that where we need to. Still though, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed today's episode. If you have, then please do chuck a like on it, because it really does help the channel out. And also let me know down in the comments section below, do you think it is the right decision to sell Gillespie, especially for the money that we're being offered? And also, what other positions with this extra money coming in should we strengthen? And of course, guys, as well, if you're looking for seeing any more of the Stones Rolling On Up series or any more of my FM20 content, such as my experiment videos, then do make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with everything here on LS Plays FM. And of course, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, and you should be seeing linked on the screen as well for you, my most recent FM21 video regarding the FM21 beta and which teams you can manage once the game comes out, in terms of some interesting save ideas, and just click on a link and it should take you to that video. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you again next time.